Oh, Melissa, here we are in Amsterdam. It's really nice to see you again in person. Trust you, Keith.
Yes, very well.
So you lead KPMG's strategic corporates practice globally. And as part of that, one of your big missions is to make sure that we're as connected as we can be with clients. And I know you founded the T-Suite program in response to that mission. Tell me a bit more about it.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you about that. I mean, the T-Suite program was kind of a genesis of an idea around a response to sort of how complex the global tax environment is getting and the mix of skills that our clients need and actually we need as advisors in order to kind of lead in this space. And with tax becoming ever more complicated and complex, but also arguably ever more important, it's really, really useful for leaders not just to have technical tax skills, but also to have skills around kind of negotiation, influencing, managing a team, understanding the ESG agenda, etc. And so the T-Suite program was really about bringing together the next generation of tax leaders and teaching them some of those skills. And so we didn't spend a lot of time doing any sort of tax technical training. Instead, what we were doing was we had Christopher Voss, who was an ex-FBI hostage negotiator, come and teach us how to negotiate in difficult situations. And obviously we'd all hope that the situations we're in aren't going to be as pressurised as an actual hostage situation, but the skills that you learn in terms of developing rapport with individuals that perhaps you don't have common ground with, or how you might think about putting yourself in another person's shoes or re-articulating an argument, are all skills that are really, really useful in those kind of jobs. And so that's just a taste of some of the things that we did. But we got together a group for last year of our first cohort of 30 individuals from our biggest clients, and this year we're running the program again, and we have another 30 individuals that are going to be part of it. And so I'm kind of excited about what that cohort will do. They'll probably respond differently to some of the stimulus to the cohort that we had last year, but I'm sure we'll also learn a lot from a KPMG perspective in terms of, you know, what's important to tax leaders and what they're thinking about in terms of their own training and development.
And I got to believe, I mean, from what you described, the role of the tax leader now is just changing dramatically to what it looked like 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
How has the program been received by the first cohort?
So I think they really liked it. Orla, who's one of our first cohort, talked about being the favourite cohort. And of course they are the favourite cohort. They are also currently the only cohort, but they were certainly the favourite cohort. What I think the feedback we got from them was that, you know, is pretty challenging in tax at the moment. There's a lot of technical work to be done, but there's also a lot of work managing a team, managing government stakeholders, managing finance stakeholders, managing some of the tremendous transformation that the businesses that they're in are undergoing. And they found the time to kind of step away from the day job, think about their own leadership style, think about their communication skills, get some external stimulus around sort of the ESG or the data journey or some of the other topics that we cover, and then be able to go back and apply that in their day jobs to kind of how they might need different. All of them, or we had a reunion dinner about 2 or 3 weeks ago, said that there was at least 2 or 3 things that they felt they'd changed in the way their leadership style worked. And I think when you've got some things that are enduring and you feel like I actually learned something, we kind of call them like aha moments or wow moments. You know, if you have a couple of those moments, often you can take that bit of advice with you, throughout your career, and that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming to kind of equip them with some other skills. They're already highly skilled, very intelligent people, but we're just equipping them with yet more skills because of the complexity of the world we operate in.
Well, I can just imagine that's well received, just the complexity of today. And you were there, you designed the program, you led the program, you got to interact with these people. What is top of people's minds generally as you were talking?
Yeah, it's interesting because as we were putting the program together, I talked to a number of global heads of tax about either what they wish they knew before they became a head of tax, and obviously having been a head of tax myself at a major pharmaceutical company, there were a number of things I wish I'd known before I started. So it was really good to kind of talk to them about what were the issues. Now, they said communication skills were vital, and actually more time spent taking difficult concepts and then making them clear. And so we spend quite a lot of time with a communication expert on something that he calls the foam method, about facts, opinions, data, etc. And just how you take something difficult but distill it without losing the value. They also talked a lot about the ESG agenda and sort of getting a head around how tax fits in to the ESG agenda and what tax's role ought to be in that. So we had some very interesting external speakers talk about where we see, there's no planet B, what's the options, etc. Where is the ESG agenda going? What does that mean for business? So then to be able to reflect back, and then if that's what it means for my business, what does it mean for tax? And then sort of at the minute, they said no course would really be complete without something on data and AI. So we talked a bit about the future of data, what artificial intelligence is going to look like, in the more general sense about what that would, and this is pre-ChatGPT. So this year's session, obviously things have moved on again, but that was interesting because it gave them a view on where the technology landscape's going, which obviously then also comes back into tax and automation and other pieces. So a lot of what we're doing in the T-Suite is thinking big in order for them to take those reflections back and then apply them to the day-to-day jobs they have.
That is just fascinating, Melissa. I can only imagine just how well received that was. And all of those topics you just mentioned, none of them tax technical, because like you said, these people are already technical experts. It's all about the additional stuff.
Yes.
That you need to know in order to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a really interesting piece in Harvard where we all talk about when we're specialists, about being T-shaped leaders, where you have a deep specialism and then you have a broader piece. And there's kind of an interesting bit about being V-shaped leaders, which is about you have got a technical piece, but as you go out into the periphery of the areas, then you need to know about how do you develop and learn those skills into V-shaped leaders. So I think what we're doing with the T-Suite is really around that. It's around how do you develop all those adjacent skills which help you to be a better tax leader.
Well, this is fascinating, Liz. I look forward to catching up with you, after the second cohort comes through and hearing what, if anything, ChatGPT did to the discussions.
Perfect. That's sure, thank you.